My job involves answering a lot of questions, but giving a good answer isn't always easy because questions themselves aren't always very clear. I mean, some questions seem easy, like, what time will the sun rise tomorrow? But that's not really that simple of a question. I mean, there are a lot of assumptions in that question. Are we in the same location? If I'm in Astoria and you're 100 miles southeast of me in Portland, sunrise can be about 10 minutes different in December. I mean, in June, it's only 2 minutes different. And then there's things like, hills and buildings that can change when the sun will crest on your horizon versus mine. So context is really important when you're asking a question. If you're asking a simple question like what time does the sun rise, it might matter to know why you want to know this. The idea of like first light can be half an hour before sunrise, meaning that the sky starts to get light and color starts to come back into the world, and you can get out for a morning run or a bike ride without worrying about having lights. But if you need your solar panel to start charging, you're going to need to know when the rays of the sun are actually over the horizon, your horizon, and going to be reaching your panel, which might be well after official sunrise, depending on buildings and trees and hills around you. So the question-answer gap gets even worse when you have somebody with really very little experience asking a question without context as somebody who has a whole lot of experience. The questioner might just be asking a simple question and get really frustrated because they're suddenly being asked questions about their question. Like, do you mean first light, cresting sun, or full daylight? I don't know. I just want to know when the sun rises. Then the expert starts launching into this lecture on the subtle differences between twilight, gloaming, sunrise, daybreak. And the person asking the original question just gets more and more frustrated because none of that makes any sense. And we're just going down a rabbit hole. The expert isn't any better than the person asking the question with no context because now they're pummeling the questioner with a bunch of unrelated facts. And again, this is without context. So asking the question requires context, and answering the question requires context. You need to understand why you're asking the question and what the outcome it is that you're looking for. And then when answering the question, we need to be able to articulate it within that context. So asking what time does the sun rise, but adding, I want to go for a run in the morning in Austin, Texas without a headlamp or reflectors. When is it light enough for me to start? Is going to get you a really different answer than what time does the sun rise because I live on a north-facing hill in Astoria, Oregon, and what time of day will my solar panel start producing electricity? And both of those are very different than what you consider the simple answer of 753.